Okay, well, let's take a look at the next section, and we're going to be looking at the part of the song that goes like so. Or something like that. Okay, so let's take a look at the left hand first. It's kind of where the kind of the meat and potatoes of the section is, actually. So here's your middle C. I want you to go down 2 octaves to this C down here, and it goes like so: C, A, G, E, G, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, G, E, D, C. Again, C, A, G, E, G, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, G, E, D, C. Okay, and of course the rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's going on with the right hand while that goes on? Well, okay. The basic thing that's going on happens sort of a repetitive pattern involving middle C, the G above it, and the C above that. So essentially, mostly what's going on is that you're playing high C down to a G, down to middle C, with pinky, index, thumb, and it's just... That's your basic framework. Now, I need to tell you, this is one of those times where Billy doesn't play it exactly the same way every time, and neither do I. And I'm going to show you a couple of variations that you can use, and you kind of need to just sort of build it as you go. But you can, if you need to, for stability's sake, just... Okay? So watch these. I'm going to kind of do it the vanilla way, like I just showed you. Just high C down to G, down to C, back up to high C, and follow that repetitive pattern, and it's like so. Okay, now, when you get to this part, so you've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, down, 3, 2, 3, 4. On the 4th measure of 4, instead of playing C down to G down to C, it goes to C, B, G, D, C, B, G, D. So watch how that plays out. You've gone... Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm just going to get that far again. Watch how the 2 hands sync up. Again. Okay, and then just back to. Okay, so what happens is, at the beginning of phrases within this, he does a little, what I'd call a flurl. It's a little word I've created myself, Flirl. Flurl, or excuse me, Flirl. Flurl. Don't make fun of me, it's my word. You understand? It's my word, and I don't care how lame you think it is. Okay, anyway, he's got a little flurl, and what he does is, he goes like that. And it's almost like not even a count. It's just, so it's CGC. Those. Okay, when we've gone ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba, on that, the flurl is DGC instead of CGC. So you have CGC, which sounds like this, which is just simply going CGC. And then you have the DGC, which is. Okay, so watch how that plays out, and then you'll see where the flurls happen. So we start out, we've come out of this little part. Because then it just repeats, so you have a little flurl again. Okay, so let me run, I'm going to run through that a little bit slower again for you a couple of times, show you where the flurls come. But the other thing that you need to keep in mind is that you can alternate between going high C down to G down to C as your pattern. And you can also go low C up to G, then up to high C. As long as you keep that continual 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that continual flow, and that's what happens with Billy Joel, and that's kind of what happens to me. Just unconsciously, if you watch me play, I'm going along and I'll be like. Okay, so I'm teaching it basically as a straight descending pattern. C, G, C. High C, G, middle C. That's the most common kind of thing to latch onto, but I just want you to know that if you hear me or Billy Joel play it 10 times, you probably are not going to hear the exact combination of ups and downs in exactly the same order any of the 10 times. So it's okay, you can learn it this way to get started and give yourself kind of a shell, but then allow your hand to wander a little bit. Just work around C, G, and C. You can, like this, you can play some octave Cs, so it's like. Whatever the world floats your boat, that's kind of how you play it. And then a lot of times on the second time through, if you see him play live, he'll jump up and play it an octave higher. So they don't do that on the Turnstiles album, but on the second time through this pattern, sometimes you'll hear him after going jump up. And nothing special, doing exactly what he was doing below. So you can jump up an octave if you like in the right hand, and that's fine. So I'm going to do it the basic vanilla way a few times slow that you can latch onto, and then once you get that under your fingers, I would encourage you to just start allowing yourself to just go with the flow and feel it with your right hand and play around a little bit, because that's how you actually play like Billy Joel. Billy Joel does not play things exactly the same way every time, 100%, no mistakes. He's fairly precise in what he does, but you know, he's still a rock and roll musician, so he's not completely in a square box all the time. So here we go. Let's look at that again. Okay, from here, you jump up, and the beginning of the next line starts at the end of this one, and it goes up here, and it's G, F, E, D, C, B, A, with simply C under the left hand, all on the eighth notes. And I would play it like a scale, just pinky on G, G, F, E, D, C, and then wrap your third finger over the thumb, B, A, like so. So watch how that plays into the equation. Second time through. You do that whole thing one more time slow, then I'll play it at regular speed, and then we're going to move on to the next section. full speed. And see, I almost can't help it at full speed but to let my hand wander a little bit. So feel free to let your hand wander. You can be does not matter what you're doing as long as it is C, G, and C. It just simply doesn't matter. Just make sure you have those flowing eighth notes between those three notes, and boom, you got it. Okay, we'll see you in the next section, and we'll pick up the part where it goes that whole thing. Okay, see you there.